This is Justin Ruiz for Software Development Assignment 3. This is the first part of the project. First, the program prompts the user for the array size using the scanner that was initialized. Then it grabs the integer that was the user's inputted and then sets that to the variable array size. Then a new array is created using that array size variable. Next, an array list is created and populated with the numbers from 1 to array size in order. The following for loop iterates through the array, randomly pulls out a number by its index from the array list, and sets the content of the array index to the pulled number. Remove the number from the list to ensure there are no doubles placed into the array we are to print. Finally, the program prints the contents of the array. Next, I will run some tests just to prove that the program works. As you can see, the numbers 1 through 5 are printed randomly. And now we will do 1 at 10. And we'll even do 1 at 24. This is part 2 of assignment 3. First, we initialize the scanner and variables. We use the markers to mark rows and columns for use in the spiral loops. Then we prompt the user for the rows and set that to a variable called row size. And we prompt the user for columns and set that variable to a variable called call size. Then we create a 2D array using the grab variable sizes. Next, this for loop will fill the 2D array with numbers from 0 to 100, including repeating numbers. Then we will print out the raw contents of the 2D array with a new line per row. Finally, we begin the spiral loops. So we have to keep printing until we've reached the end of the columns, the rows and the columns. First, we go at the current row and move the iterator forward through the columns and print. This is done horizontally. Then we increment the row marker so that we don't go through that row again. Then at the current column, we move the iterator through the rows downward and print. We use the -1 here to avoid reading the number that is shared by the first row and the last column. Then we decrement the size of the column so the loops do not read through that column again. Note at the beginning of every for loop, the iterator is set to either the column marker or the row marker. That is to ensure that when we get to the if statements at the very end of the while loop, it knows when it needs to start moving backwards or not. Finally, if the row marker is less than the row size, it means that we have to start moving backwards. Now this for loop will run through the columns horizontally, backwards, and print the number in that index. We use -1 here again to avoid reading the same number twice shared from that column and that row. The last if statement is the same logic as the previous, but for the rows backwards, vertical instead of horizontal. Next, I'll run some tests to prove that the program works.